Leo, welcome to your general Tarotscope for the period between November 15th and 30th. And I just want to tell you a few transits that are occurring before I lay out the cards. Neptune, which is the planet of mysticism, as well as confusion, deception, fantasy, and I would say even creativity, especially if it's divinely inspired creativity, idealism. Neptune is going direct on the 19th of the month. And this is occurring for you in your 8th house of intimacy. The 8th house is the house of sex, death, and other people's money. And you have a long-term Neptunian transit through there. So for Leo, this could be an uncharacteristic, I don't want to say obsession, but interest in all things occult and all things about life after death, the mysteries of life, because Neptune is such a mystical influence. And, you may find yourself really even tuning into the beyond. I said it can be the dead, and sometimes people who have Neptune in their natal charts in this 8th house can actually be mediums. So, having it transit through this house could give you some kind of metaphysical or mystical experiences that allow you to kind of pierce that veil between the worlds. And in other ways that Neptune can influence the 8th house, you may have confusion about a spouse's money or about any kind of maybe an inheritance, money that is maybe owed to you from other sources. There may be some kind of fog or cloudiness, things clouding over that for you to be able to kind of clear that up. And actually when Neptune goes direct, it makes it even more so the case. When it goes retrograde, it can give you a little bit of clarity. So maybe if you remember back to June when Neptune did go retrograde, if there was anything that kind of came to light in any issue surrounding that 8th house, that might have been something that you were able to gain insight on, and now it's back to this kind of feeling your way through it. So hopefully it's not going to be too confusing for you. But the other transits, which I think you're going to really like actually, are hitting your natural 5th house of creativity and love, romance, the early stages. Also the 5th house is children and home businesses. So you're going to have the sun go into that house, and the sun is your ruler, so it makes it a little bit more important. And that goes on the 21st of November. And then you have a new moon, new beginnings in that area on the 29th of the month. So that can indicate, starting a relationship with somebody. The sun there can be very helpful in that romantic and warm kind of exchanges with somebody that you are interested in. So it looks like the end of the month is going to be kind of romantic for some of you. Okay. I rest my case. Okay, so this is the overall theme for this period of time, and it is the Ace of Cups. This is one of those cards, like an offer of love. Because this is a general reading, we can also look at business opportunities, but it's business opportunities that, touch your heart rather than your wallet. If I had picked an Ace of Pentacles, it would be, something that's a beginning of a career, but it's more of a, financial windfall type of a situation. So this is whatever is coming in or is part of what is happening. That is something that if it is not related to a new love in your life, it could be related to maybe something that you're starting. As I say, you're going to have that new moon at the end of the month in your 5th house, which deals with a business that you own, possibly. So it might be something you decide to do on your own, and it is touching your heart. It's not something that you're doing just for, the ego or for the amount of money that it brings in. And let's continue, and I'll figure this out. And we have in the past position the 10 of Pentacles. This can be family business. It could be an offshoot of that, or maybe you had help from your family, maybe to start this venture. Maybe they helped you. They gave you a sum of money. Sometimes the 10 of Pentacles relates to inheritances. So maybe you got some money from someone who passed away, and that was, what you used as your seed money. I mentioned that about that 8th house with Pisces traveling through there and going direct, with Neptune going direct there. So that might be a time when something shifts in that last half of the month, which happens to coincide with what I'm speaking of. And for people that are in relationships, the past person could have been an earth sign, could have been a Taurus or a Virgo or a Capricorn. Or if they're not that, as a sun sign, they have it as, it seems like their personality is very practical and hardworking. And the 10 of Pentacles is about great wealth or a lot of financial stability. The energy coming in is the World card. So this is the last card of the Major Arcana. This is kind of a chapter closing, but it's a triumphant closing of a chapter. There's a sense of accomplishment. And, of course, they're always, that's always kind of strange to me, because when I see the World card and they talk about that sense of accomplishment, because sometimes you're looking for some tangible evidence of it, like something really amazing happens. And it might be on a more subtler level. It could be a change of consciousness that has occurred, that has allowed you to move into a new phase of your life. And you may have learned from past issues to kind of put the past behind you in whatever way that you need to. And learn from it and appreciate it and bless it, and not feel like if something happened that you didn't want to happen, not to feel that it oppressed you, that actually it benefited you, that you were better off afterwards than before, that it didn't, harm you, in other words. The higher message is the Magician card. And so definitely for entrepreneurs, this is an important card. You see he's got all his, I found out this is from the 4 elements. And so he has his tools. But the whole purpose of this is to talk about self-mastery. And I would even say self-sufficiency. So a perfect example of this, and this is something that Leo can do in their sleep, because you are a sign that is associated with leadership. And so, and also I feel that you're a very generous sign, and generous people tend to attract financial abundance to them. It just seems to be what happens, because they believe, when people are generous, they believe that there's more where that came from, so they don't have to cling to their resources because they know that they will be replenished. And so I feel that if some of you had any kind of setback with that, the Ten of Pentacles may have, indicated some people getting supported by their family. So, and an example would be, maybe you had a great job and you lost it, and your field is undergoing a certain transition where it's maybe the jobs are shifting, and for whatever reason you weren't able to get a job in that field after losing your job, and you eventually just went home and lived with family or what have you, or got a loan from your family, or they just gave you money. The point is that for a Leo, this is very hard to do because you like to be the generous one. Generous people tend to not like to, have a hard time accepting gifts or accepting help, because they are so helpful that they want to give to others. And Leo is a sign associated with a lot of pride. So if you were any kind of hardship in the past, I feel like something awakened inside of you, and now you are pursuing something that's much more appropriate for your particular temperament and also your basic sense of self. And Leo is naturally creative. That's another thing, being the ruler of the 5th house. So the Magician card is simply saying that you really took the bull by the horns, and you're able to use what you could, or do what you can with what you got where you are, that type of mentality. And that's how you were able to get where you are, and you're having success because of it. In a personal relationship, it could be that there's some kind of new love coming in for you, and maybe the thing that brought this to you was believing that you could have it, and believing that you could attract it. And the World card is kind of indicating or going along with the notion that you may be going through a new period. And so you have the ending, the World, and you have the beginning, the Ace of Cups, side by side. One area closes, another one begins. The higher message, the Judgment in reverse. So in this particular, it's like it could be, if you have been any kind of legal case involving a former spouse, and the Ten of Pentacles could mean that you were dealing with those the estate, or the whatever you call the money that you share with a former partner, a spouse. The Judgment card may be suggesting that things are being held up because of whatever is decided, or maybe some other snafus. We are going into the holiday season, so there may be delays because of people not being able to show up and things like that, and taking vacation. In America, we have Thanksgiving during this time period, and then of course we have Christmas in December. But so you have to, you have a lot of major arcana cards, but you may still have unresolved issues. The Judgment card in reverse could also be pointing to, not really learning from past issues, and, continuing to harbor certain views about life. Being a fixed sign, you do tend to hang on to your opinions, and sometimes you have a hard time budging from whatever it is that you're thinking, and you may even have resentments about a relationship that turned out not to be working so well, and that may cause you to be a bit, shall we say, I don't know if we'd say like grumpy about it, or at the very least blocked, and if you feel like this kind of resentment, this blockage, what happens is that it makes it very hard to move forward. And sure enough, for the advice, there's the 5 of Cups. You may have to grieve something. You may have been very busy with work. This card too can point to like a lot of career success. So you may have been busy with that, and you haven't had time to properly grieve a situation, like the ending of a marriage, the ending of a love relationship that you really cared for deeply. And so once you really maybe take some time out for yourself and not just be so busy with your job situation or your career, you may have the ability to kind of purify yourself in that sense, to kind of release, I should say, all of that stuff, that residue that was left over from whatever happened. And so it looks like some of you may have had a disappointment in love. And of course, these readings are intended for people that are having difficulties in relationships or are single, and not for people that are happy with their partner. So if you think that I'm kind of focusing on that, I am. I'm focusing on that because, if you're having good times with your partner, there's no reason to be looking at a love reading because everything's great. So, and the outcome is the 7 of Cups. This is a card that is associated sometimes with confusion and deception. I just mentioned that Neptune is in your 8th house. Now, the 8th house is also the house of intimacy, so it can indicate that for some people, they may even be getting close to somebody that they're bearing their soul with. I just want to say that the Ace of Cups can refer to somebody that you meet that's like soulmate material, because it's like you are really connecting with them at the deepest level. And the thing about the 7 of Cups too is that it's showing that you have a lot of options. You may have felt limitations in the past. You may have felt that, you were just kind of consigned to, one choice, and you didn't like what that choice was. And this is actually showing that you have more choices than you really realized. But the thing is, you have to choose wisely so that you are investing your energy into something that is going to last, not something that's just an affair or, just a way to pass the time. And so for some people, this could be that you end up with somebody who is a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces individual. And with that Ace of Cups in the beginning, that might have been a start in a relationship with somebody of the water element as well. I didn't mention that, but it's certainly the case. So anyway, Leo, I hope you enjoyed that. If you liked this reading and you'd like a private reading where I look at your natal chart using your exact time of birth along with the tarot in a lot of my readings, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great rest of November. Bye.